Hi, I'm Elizabeth, and I am a wellness coach. And the tagline that I always use is that I work with people on fitness and nutrition, but also how they can feel their very best because everyone deserves to feel happy, healthy, and completely in love with life. So, I post a lot about eating disorders and eating disorder recovery. And you might be wondering how an online wellness coach can work with people who have eating disorders. And I just want to say very clearly up front, I do not claim to treat eating disorders, okay? And I think that's, well, let me back up. Okay, so the reason that I'm interested in these issues is that I have been there. I know what it's like. I suffered from compulsive overeating for many years, and I know that feeling so well. The feeling of being just stuffed, just so uncomfortably full, physically uncomfortable, where you are just crawling out of your skin. I have been there many times. The feeling of shame, where I would just hate myself for what I had eaten, and I would feel totally powerless, so powerless to keep it from happening again. So just, whether it's compulsive overeating, bulimia, anorexia, whatever eating disorder is afflicting you, for those watching this who are struggling with those disorders, just know that I understand and I'm sensitive to those issues. And I think that that's why people who are recovering from eating disorders are drawn to me as a coach, because I get it. I try really hard on my page not to post, and just, in all of my communication, my website, everything, I try really hard to think about how my language and what I'm saying and what I'm focusing on is going to affect people who have issues with body image, who, maybe you're still in a place where you hate what you see when you look in the mirror, or maybe you once felt that way and you love yourself now and you're better at practicing self-care but still slip back into those habits sometimes. The last thing I want to do is make those issues blow up again. And so I will always be careful and sensitive. And that's my commitment to you. So I know what it's like. I understand. I'm sensitive to these issues. And I also know that there's a limit to what I can do as a coach. So for me to recover was a years-long process, and it involved therapy, and it involved participation in a 12-step program. And I'm not shy about that, because I just think that too many people suffer in silence, and they suffer by themselves. And if I can save, even one person just from thinking, oh, well, nobody else has this problem and I'm weak and I suck because I can't seem to solve this problem on my own. I share what I had to do because I want you to be brave enough to go and get help. So that's why I share. But so anyway, I don't pretend that I can solve it for you as a coach if you have a full-blown eating disorder. But I do think that I am tuned into some of the signs. And so, if you're in one of my groups and you say, like, I'm working on eating issues with food, exercise, body image, great. That's exactly what I work on as a coach. However, if it's starting to seem to me like you really need help beyond what I can provide, I will gently suggest that you consider pursuing some other options. And so I just want you to know that I have your back no matter what. It's not like I'm going to think, oh, well, I'll lose you as a customer. My concern is always, I just want what's best for you. That's why I'm doing this job in the first place. And that is always my number one priority. How can I best help my clients? And with a special interest in helping people who do have those same food and body image issues, because I know how tough they can be. So I feel like everything that kind of led up to this is a disclaimer about, like, what if you need extra help and what if you're still really struggling. But I want to say that I think my coaching, on the positive side, the reason that I'm a coach is because these programs that I now coach people on have helped me personally so much. And I'll tell you how. So, going back in time, as I said, I was really struggling. I was at war with my body, at war with food, and I felt like I couldn't get out of it. I couldn't escape. And this had gone on since I was probably 13. And, you know, it lasted well into my 20s. So, I mean, it was miserable. And there would be periods where it was easier, and then I would be like right back down, and just, you know, it was like the self-loathing just got deeper and deeper. And what finally broke the cycle for me was yoga, because I had been punishing myself with exercise. Exercise is punishment for the calories that you eat. Does that sound familiar to anyone who's watching? Well, yoga was the first thing that really introduced me to the concept of loving my body, being kind to my body. So I quit doing any exercise other than yoga because I just fell in love with that, and that became my new addiction for a while. And that just revolutionized my whole way of thinking about my body. And I went through, that was when I went to therapy and went to Overeaters Anonymous and did a whole bunch of things, like no restriction whatsoever on food, like eat whatever I want, when I want. And, you know, it like sounds really scary to me even talking about it now, just letting go of all restrictions and realizing that I'm not going to eat myself to death. So, you know, again, in combination with therapy, that was the approach that worked for me. It might not be good for everyone. So anyway, just to share, you know, how I got to where I am today. From that period of time, then, you know, I had always been interested in nutrition and how nutrition affects health. And I did love movement in some ways, even though, as I said, I did use it as punishment, but I always was drawn to exercise and that feeling, like the joy you get when you move your body. You know, I used to teach aerobics and go to aerobics classes, and I used to run. And I mean, movement has always been a part of my life in some fashion. But I just had to get away from it for a while, from everything except yoga, to get away from that punishment aspect. So then I was doing a lot of yoga and moved to a new city. I moved to Madison, Wisconsin from Boston, and, you know, needed to get out and meet people. So I joined this dance studio with a Groupon. And one of the instructors taught this class called Turbo Kick. You might have heard of it. It's kickboxing, but just super happy, peppy pop music. And it just totally like connected with my soul. And other than yoga, it was the first time that I really felt like, wow, this is totally fun. And it's not like work. The time went by so fast, and just like everything about the experience was enjoyable. So I became, you know, like I said, yoga was my new addiction. Okay, I have an addictive personality. If it's not food, it's something else. I just have to watch it. So I became addicted also to Turbo Kick. Got the home DVD version, and then I learned, okay, it's made by this company called Beachbody, and they have all these other different fitness programs on DVD and now on video streaming. And I mean, like I've been doing these programs, it's over a year now, but it could be like a couple years more, and they keep coming out with new ones, and there are so many different options. I've never been bored, and every single one has just been a blast. So these are the programs that I lead, okay? So you'll get an exercise program set out for you, and you'll get a coaching group online with someone who is sensitive to body image issues and food issues. And the focus is always being body positive, learning to love your body, body acceptance. And yes, you know, we're getting stronger, getting healthier, more fit, but it's never, you know, never, like you would never want to lose weight at the expense of your health, for example. And that's always just the underlying premise of all of my messages in the group. The motivation, the guidance, the information I provide, everything. So I hope this all makes sense and comes together. Basically what I wanted to explain is that is the reason that I post a lot about eating disorders. There's a history for me, and, you know, these are people that I want to work with, are people who are struggling with the same issues that I have myself. It's a passion of mine, and it's something that I enjoy thinking about, talking about, working with people on. And if you think that, if you think these groups sound like fun, or if you think working with me on these issues could be a good step for you in this lifelong relationship with food that a lot of us have, especially if we've had an eating disorder at one time, then I would welcome you, and I would encourage you to get in touch with me. Shoot me an email. You can connect with me on Facebook, on Instagram, YouTube. I'm pretty much everywhere. So look me up, and I look forward to hearing from you.